everybody. Welcome to Storytime at Home. I'm Miss Robin. I'm coming to you from the Atlee branch of the Pamunkey Regional Library. And our theme today is on dragons. Hopefully you're a fan of dragons. If not, maybe you will be after this story time. But before we get started, the first thing we have to do is our welcoming song. Here we go. Listen to the drum, everybody come. Come to the circle, everybody come. Listen to the drum, everybody come. Come to the circle, everybody come. Listen to the drum, can you echo the drum? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Listen to the drum, can you echo the drum? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Listen to the drum, everybody come. Come to the circle, everybody come. Listen to the drum, everybody come. Come to the circle, everybody come. Nice, huh? All right. So we're going to put our drum down and get started with our story time. Dragons. Cool. All right. So the first book I want to read to you is a very, very funny book. In fact, I had trouble not laughing while I was trying to read it. It's called Not Your Typical Dragon. It's written by Dan Barrell and illustrated by Tim Bowers. And we want to thank our publishers, Viking Press, for allowing us to read it. All right. So get in your circle with your family and friends and have a seat and get ready for our story time on dragons. Crispin Blaze was born into a proud family of fire-breathing dragons. Every blaze breathes fire, explained his father. I breathe fire, your mother breathes fire, and tomorrow you turn 7 and you will breathe fire too. The little dragon imagined all the forests he would burn down. He dreamed of all the castles he would destroy. He also considered boiling water to make tea. But he didn't tell his father that. I think I like him already. I love tea. How about you? It's tasty stuff. The next day, Crispin sat among his family and friends, and a big cake was brought to the table. Who will light the birthday candles? Said his mother. I will, declared Crispin. He could feel a tingling inside his tummy. But when he opened his mouth, fire did not come out. Whipped cream came out. Crispin, shouted his father. Dragons breathe fire. What will the neighbors think? Worried his mother. I love whipped cream, said his little sister Ashley. The little dragon was whisked off to the doctor the very next day. Boy, that looks pretty delicious. Whipped cream. Please fix my son, demanded Crispin's father. What seems to be the problem? Asked the doctor. Crispin opened his mouth and breathed. But fire did not come out. Band-Aids came out. I see, said the doctor gravely. Dragons should breathe fire, insisted Crispin's father. Well, we are low on Band-Aids, mumbled the nurse. What is a Band-Aid? Anybody know? It's one of these guys, right? If you cut your finger or your arm, you put a bandage or a Band-Aid over the top of it, right? I can't imagine him opening up his mouth and out popping Band-Aids. The doctor sent Crispin home with medicine. He swallowed two teaspoons before going to bed. It will help you become a real dragon, said his father in a week. After school, Crispin joined his very first fire-breathing practice. One by one, little dragons aimed their fiery breath at stacks of logs until they burst into flames. Crispin stepped up confidently. He could feel the medicine bubbling in his belly, but when he opened his mouth, fire did not come out. Marshmallows came out. Dragons breathe fire, yelled the coach. Isn't that right, class? The other dragons didn't answer. They were too busy looking for pointy sticks for marshmallow roasting. I guess I'm not a real dragon, Crispin thought. He worried that his family would be disappointed, so he ran away from home. The world can be a scary place for a little dragon who can't breathe fire. Crispin found a dark cave. I'll be a fireless dragon all by myself. I won't bother anyone, and no one will bother me. But an hour later, he had a visitor. I am Sir George, squealed a shiny knight. Show yourself, dragon. Crispin shuffled out of the cave. The thin, shiny knight held up his thin, shiny sword. Do your worst, dragon. Crispin's mouth opened, but fire did not come out. What do you think came out? Soap bubbles? Don't you breathe fire, dragon? Crispin shook his head. I can't. Sir George moaned. Oh, but my father insists that I fight a fire-breathing dragon. It even says here in my book that your typical dragon breathes fire. I am not your typical dragon, Crispin explained. Sir George sighed. Oh, I can't go home. Me neither, Crispin nodded. But then he had an idea. Maybe your book can tell us what to do. Of course. Sir George searched through the pages. It says here it's probably just your diet. Sir George fed Crispin spicy curry, scorching chili, and blistering salsa. Oh my goodness. Crispin opened his mouth, but fire did not come out. Red party streamers came out. Well, at least they're the right color, said Sir George kindly. Sir George searched through the book again. It says it's probably your attitude. Sir George showed Crispin how to look mean and angry, enough for him to breathe fire. Crispin opened his mouth, but fire did not come out. Cuddly teddy bears came out instead. Said Sir George. We may have taken a step backward. It's no excuse, sighed Crispin. I'm just not your typical dragon. Poor Crispin, he sounds stressed. But Sir George was not ready to give up. Aha! The book says you're too stressed. Sir George made Crispin close his eyes while he described a quiet, relaxing day at the ocean. Do you feel calm? Now imagine 100 shiny knights attacking you. Crispin opened his mouth, but fire did not come out. Beach balls came out. Well, that's just plain weird. Secretly, Sir George was glad that Crispin couldn't breathe fire. He liked the little dragon and didn't want to fight him. Crispin liked the shiny knight, too, but he also missed his parents. Sir George, it's getting dark and I want to go home. The shiny knight patted him on his back. Don't worry, little dragon, I'll take you home. Crispin's parents were relieved when he arrived home safely. Sir George was about to say goodbye when they heard a shout. "There you are, boy. Why on earth are you playing with fire-breathing dragons?" "He's my friend, Father," whispered Sir George. "And besides, he doesn't breathe fire." A dragon that doesn't breathe fire? That's the silliest thing I've heard, said the shiny man. Crispin's father stormed out of the house. "My son is not silly. He may not breathe fire, but I certainly do." Crispin's father let out a powerful spray of flames. Wow. There they are. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. "Do your worst, dragon," declared the shiny man. But then the flames scorched the lawn. "That's enough, honey," said Crispin's mother. The flames singed the fence. "You've made your point, dear. Now stop showing off," she scolded. Then the flames ignited the roof. Crispin's father panicked. I can't stop breathing fire." "You'll burn down the house," cried his mother. "You'll burn down the whole neighborhood." Dragons came running from all directions. They knew how to start fires, but no one knew how to put them out. What are they going to do? Crispin suddenly felt a tingling in his tummy, and he felt a bubbling in his belly, and he opened his mouth. But fire did not come out. What do you think came out? That's right, a gush of water shot out. Crispin aimed the water at his father's flames. He saved his home, and he even saved the shiny man. He wasn't looking so shiny anymore. "Hooray for Crispin, hooray!" everyone shouted. So Crispin's talents came in handy, didn't they? On Crispin's next birthday, there was a big party. Family and friends came from all over the land. Sir George and his family came too. Lots of dragons were dancing. Crispin stood with his mouth wide open, but fire did not come out. Music came out instead. "Your son," said an old uncle to Crispin's father. "He is not your typical dragon, is he?" "No," replied Crispin's father proudly. "My son is something special." And then he jumped up and danced to Crispin's music too. And everybody said, "The end." Isn't that a fun book? He's spitting out Band-Aids. Crazy stuff, right? But it's cute when he spits out water at the end. That's very helpful, isn't it? So just because you're different doesn't mean that you can't be a good part of society, someone that's helpful. All right, so the next one that I would like us to do together is a poem. And this is a poem that's very famous. It's called Custard the Dragon. The Tale of Custard the Dragon by Ogden Nash. Belinda lived in a little white house with a little black kitten and a little gray mouse and a little yellow dog and a little red wagon. Realio, Trulio, a little pet dragon. Now, the name of the little black kitten was Ink, and the little gray mouse, she called her Blink. And the little yellow dog was sharp as mustard, but the dragon was a coward. They called him Custard. Custard the dragon had big sharp teeth and spikes on top of him and scales underneath, a mouth like a fireplace, a chimney like a nose, Realio, Trulio, daggers on his toes. Belinda was as brave as a barrel full of bears, and Ink and Blink chased lions down the stairs. Mustard was as brave as a tiger in a rage, but Custard cried for a nice cage. Belinda tickled him. She tickled him unmercifully. Ink, Blink, and Mustard, they rudely called him Percival. They all sat laughing in a little red wagon at the Realio Trulio cowardly dragon. Belinda giggled until she shook the house. And Blink said, "Week," which is giggle for a mouse. Ink and Custard rudely asked his age when Custard cried for a nice safe cage. Suddenly, they heard a nasty sound, and Mustard growled, and they looked all around. "Meow," cried Ink. "Ow," cried Belinda, for there was a pirate climbing in the window. He had a pistol in his left hand and a pistol in his right, and he held in his teeth a cutlass bright. It's a knife, right? His beard was black, one leg was wooden, and it was clear that the pirate meant no good. Belinda paled. Oh, she cried, "Help, help!" But Mustard fled with a terrified yelp. Whoop! Ink trickled down to the bottom of the household, and little Mouse Blink was strategically mouseholed. But up jumped Custard, snorting like an engine, flashing his tail like irons in a dungeon. With a clatter and a clank and a jangling squirm, he went at the pirate like a robin at a worm. Belinda, like a robin at a worm. The pirate gaped at Belinda's dragon. He gulped some grog from his pocket flagon. He fired 2 bullets, but they did not hit, and Custard gobbled him up every bit. Belinda embraced him. Mustard licked him. No one mourned for his pirate victim. Ink and Blink in glee did gyrate around the dragon that ate the pirate. Belinda still lives in her little white house with her little black kitten and her little gray mouse, and her little yellow dog and her little red wagon, and her Realio Trulio little pet dragon. Belinda is brave as a barrel full of bears, and Ink and Blink chase lions down the stairs. Mustard is brave as a tiger in a rage, but Custard keeps crying for a nice, safe cage. Now, what I'd like us to do next is to read another book about dragons. So let me get that for us. It is called A Dragon on the Roof. It's a children's book inspired by Antonio Gaudi. It's created by Cecilia Alex and Fred Scotchard. And you can see our dragon here. And it is about a house with a dragon on the roof. Do you have a dragon on your roof? No, man, me either. But that would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? We want to thank the publishers Prestel of Munich, London, and New York for allowing us to read this book today. It's a dragon on the roof. Paloma is bored sitting in front of the fireplace. Donna Rosa, her elderly nanny, is falling asleep. "Stop a fidgeting," she told her. "You have to go and be a good girl, un buena chica." But now the old woman has begun to snore. Her chin is resting on her bodice. Suddenly, a glint appears in Paloma's eyes. If I went to the window just for a moment, she thinks, I could look outside and then return to my seat. Nobody would be any wiser. Come on, let's go. She runs forward and presses her nose against the window pane. Outside, the sky grows dark. The sun disappears. The wind is on the rise, and leaves are swirling all around in clusters. What is that roaring in the distance? Is it a storm? A tempest? A tornado? All of a sudden, Paloma is startled by an odd creature that is every last bit of strength its tiny paws is banging against the window pane. "Who are you?" marvels the child as she opens the window. It's a bat, of course. Rushing inside, flies about, bangs into something, and appears quite distressed. "It's chasing me! What a disaster! What a catastrophe!" moans the bat. Paloma takes the animal in her hands and presses it against her heart. "Shh, shh, shh. Calm down. What's happening? What are you afraid of?" No sooner has she uttered those words than the walls begin to tremble. Oh my goodness. The bat covers its head between its wings. "It's so horrible, it's on its way here," sobs the bat. "Who is?" asks Paloma. "The destroyer of the sea, the fearsome beast that eats everything in its path." All at once, the window slams. The water shimmers on the ceiling, and tiles begin to quiver. The balcony twists, and the beams clatter about like bones being cracked, cracked, cracked. The whole building shudders, as an unknown creature makes its appearance. The threatening shadow of a huge tail slides down the staircase. See the poor bat up there. "Hey, you, wait for me!" Paloma hurries after the creature. Under its feet, the stairs rise and fall as if they were alive. "You have to escape, little child," pleads the bat. "No way," shouts the brave girl. She does not notice the jagged shapes pressing into the walls, the door handles that twist like snakes' tongues, and the stairway that curves like an animal's spine. Paloma just runs. She wants to find out who has come into her house and what that intruder could want. "It's over here in the corridor. Let's catch it." Paloma flies at full speed. "It's over here in the corridor. Let's catch it." Paloma flies at full speed from one room to the next. "He'll bite us," screams the bat in panic. "I hear a noise in the living room," says the young girl. "Let's go before he wakes Donna Rosa in the fireplace. Has gone out. The nanny is snoring." "It's over here. It's over there in the corridor. Let's catch it." Paloma flies at full speed from one room to the next. "He'll bite us," screams the bat in panic. "I hear a noise in the living room," says the young girl. "Let's go before he wakes Donna Rosa." In the fireplace, the fire has gone out. The nanny is still snoring. But there are 3 scales, blood red in color, at her feet, and a gigantic mark made by long claws. "Ah, but it is a dragon," gasps the bat. Paloma is off and running again. She loves dragons. "Come back. He'll devour you, girl," shudders the bat, completely terrified. The little girl is not afraid. She hunts around the kitchen and bounces from room to room. Finding nothing, Paloma then climbs up to the attic, pushes open the door, and tiptoes in. She hears a heart pounding. Thud, thud, thud. Paloma reaches out with her hand and feels the cold skin of the creature beneath her. "Oh, my beauty, my lovely, let me stroke you," she whispers. She gently scratches between its scales. Doesn't she know that dragons are sensitive to tickling? Uh-oh, what do you think's going to happen? Then, out of nowhere, the dragon explodes with laughter, unleashing the sea in all its waves. Tuna, crabs, cuttlefish, and seaweed. The house becomes a giant aquarium with water running up to the porch. Driven in by the waves, the bat splashes about. Help me, ooh! He gurgles. A giant sea turtle and a wall of sardines eventually save the bat and guide it back up to the roof. Wow, she's having a wild experience and her house is full of water. But they saved the bat, so that's good, right? The beast is dripping wet and red with rage. Paloma fearlessly shakes the dragon and exclaims, "What a fool! Just look at the mess you made with all this water. I could have drowned." "I didn't do it on purpose," replies the dragon. "A while ago I was in the sea and I was half asleep. And then I yawned and gulped a whole lot of seawater. Fish and shellfish right down my throat." Poor dragon, that doesn't sound like fun, does it? "Well, you could have spat them out somewhere else," scolds Paloma. "Are you happy about flooding my house?" "I'm sorry," says the dragon, brushing his eye. "What I need is sleep. Sleep and more sleep. I don't suppose you have somewhere for me to sleep." He stretches out his body and opens his wide mouth. He stretches out his body and opens his mouth wide. Whew. Very sleepy dragon. "No, please do not yawn," explains Paloma, closing the dragon's jaws with her hand. "Definitely do not," adds the bat, "because you would swallow up the sky and the birds and the sun." Little Paloma drags the huge animal into a corner. The bat, having calmed down just a bit, hums a tune to remind him of faraway caves. The dragon closes his eyes and falls asleep. Reassured, the sun starts to shine, and without a sound, Paloma returns to sit in front of the fireplace. Looks like a happy dragon there, huh? As soon as Paloma is settled, her nanny wakes up. "Are you well, muchacha?" she asks. Perfectly well," the child replies. "I dozed off," Donna Rosa sighs, placing her glasses on her nose. "Everything is so calm today." The old nanny begins to light up the fire when her eyes suddenly open wide. "¿Qué es eso? But what is this?" she exclaimed. Between her thumb and forefinger, she holds a tiny seahorse, which is quivering angrily. "Oh, that seahorse has lost its way," says Paloma. She takes it and puts it discreetly into a vase that is overflowing with seawater. Donna Rosa looks at the ceiling and runs her hands over the walls. That's strange. I get a feeling that everything is scratched and scraped here. Donna Rosa looks at the ceiling and runs her hands over the walls. That's strange. I get the feeling that everything is scratched and scraped here. I don't recognize anything anymore. Maybe you need new glasses, declares the little girl. The old lady shrugs. There's something not right about this house, she says as she strokes up the fire. A mischievous flicker appears in Paloma's eyes. Under the bench, the bat laughs gently. Poor Donna Rosa. What is she going to say when she finds out there is a dragon on the roof? Isn't that cool? Everybody said the end. Now this is an actual real house. I'm going to show you a picture of it here. And it is in Barcelona, Spain. This is the house itself, and you can see how it kind of looks like there's a dragon on the top of the roof. and it is part of the Art Nouveau movement, which was a popular style in the early 1900s that incorporated live creature type styles, live animals, such as fish and vines on a tree. You can see how the doors down here almost look round and wavy, like they're real trees. Pretty cool, huh? So, and this is a house that you could go visit in Spain if you ever get a chance to do that one time. And it was created by this architect named Antonio Gaudi, and again, he is part of the Art Nouveau or Modernism movement. I hope you've enjoyed studying this real house that has a dragon on the roof. Wouldn't that be cool? So before we go, I'd like to show you our dragon craft. So here is our dragon. Can you see him? So what you do is you take a toilet paper roll, get some glue, and you get some construction paper, wrap it around your toilet paper roll, and glue it down. Then you can get an adult to help you if you want. You can use a hot glue gun and glue little pom-pom eyes on top of the dragon, and then little googly eyes on top of that, and then 2 little pom-poms for a nose. And this dragon is not a fire-breathing dragon, right? What is he? It's a water-breathing dragon, right? Just like Crispin in our book. Not the typical dragon, right? Well, hopefully you can make one of these at your own home. They're pretty cool. Hope you've enjoyed story time today. And before we go, we should sing our book song before we leave each other together, our closing song. The more we read together, 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 the more we read together, the happier we'll be. Because your friends are my friends, and my friends are your friends. The more we read together, the happier we'll be. Thanks again. Have a good one. Bye.